All right, guys, we're ready for our Four Seasons sunroom, and Daddy's gonna get a rec room with refreshments.
Oh no, we'll be sleeping under the stars.
Mom, what about the one with, the fun?
Nice try, little bro. It's a gym. My gym.
Hey, Grandma's getting her Four Seasons garden room. Weather tight and still like being outdoors.
Maybe a living room. Oh no, wait, a family hub.
Yeah! No matter what the budget, the season, or the climate, Four Seasons sunrooms let you and your family enjoy the outdoors inside. Call now to receive your free, no-obligation brochure from the premier manufacturer of sunrooms since 1975.
More reasons for Four Seasons now.
To find out more, call toll-free 800-928-7007. That's 800-928-7007. Call 800-928-7007 today.
Wake up, America. I think I got something to say to you. I love the United States of America, and I want you to love the United States of America too. Wake Up America Radio with Dr. A and Lou Bell is not a safe space, so enter at your own risk. You will be exposed to the truth, and we will endure the consequences. Now rest assured, Dr. A will not try to put his brain into your head. I will, however, motivate you to think and to use the analytical part of your brain that very few people want to use because it requires actual effort and actual work. Hey, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Wake Up America Radio with Dr. Randy Arrington and Lou Bell. She is my producer, my sidekick, and of course I've given her the honorary tactical call sign of Wench because Lou Esposito doesn't take crap from anybody. Are you there, Wench?
I am here. Hello, everyone.
You know what? This is a special edition of Wake Up America Radio. This is our Father's Day special. And those of you who have been listening to me for a while, and Lou Bell can attest to this, whenever I do anything, I want to, one, make you think and use the analytical part of your brain, rational thought process that really nobody wants to do because it requires work. But I also like to elicit a variety of human emotions in each of my readers or my listeners to make them know that they're alive and feel those things. Can you attest to that, Lou?
Absolutely, I can attest to that. You make me think probably more than most people in my life.
Well, that's what I want to do. And you know what? This is a special edition, Father's Day edition. And of course, we know Father's Day is a day of commemoration and celebration of Dad, that special man in our life. We often forget the sacrifice of our fathers and the roles they have played, the many roles they have played in shaping our lives, actively shaping our lives. Father's Day gives us the opportunity to show and express our love and care to this man who deserves our support most. Father's Day is the most appropriate platform to make us look beyond our own family and honor the man who brought us joy, security, and happiness. Father's Day is a day to honor not only your father, but all the men who have acted as a father figure within your life, whether that be a stepfather, an uncle, a grandfather, or perhaps a big brother.
Or Dr. A.
Well, Dr. Ray, I'm not old enough to be your father.
No, you're not, but that
I'm old
doesn't
enough
mean
to be my children's father.
Big brother,
you know
then.
what?
How about that?
Well, you know what? The word father is often used to honor spiritual leaders, inventors, and originators of an idea, a product, a service, or a person. It is so that our fathers have always been associated with guidance and protection. We just kind of mentioned that in the first opening there. As the person who can be loved, respected, and looked up to. Let us use Father's Day to honor these special men, whether they're living or not in this world or not, and let them know what place they have in our lives or have had in our lives and how they have influenced us. This year's Father's Day, of course, will be celebrated on the 19th of June, 2016. So do not forget to make this special day more special if you can. An occasion to express gratitude towards your dad for all of his support and love cards, flowers, and other gifts of love from the major person in your life who's your father. It's a time for burnt toast and breakfast in bed, or burnt pancakes if you prefer those, family gatherings, and crayons that scribble, "I love you, Daddy," and, of course, that lovely new tie, which I used to get. The perfect day to tell your dad how special he is to you and how much you appreciate his warm and cozy company. After all, it is Father's Day this next Sunday. Express your appreciation and love to this person who has transformed you into a wonderful person that you are today. And that's kind of like the opening, Lou. You know that my dad passed about 3 years ago, and he lived a long life. He was a submarine officer in the Navy, and he worked in Hollywood for like 30 years. And when he passed, he asked me before he passed if I would bury his ashes at sea, which I did out there off the coast of Laguna Beach. And if you'd have been there, you would have, you might have been sad. You might have had a celebratory attitude. You also might have laughed if you saw how I did it, because I was alone. Nobody would go with me, Lou, in this little boat that I rented to take my dad's ashes out to Laguna Beach and bury him at sea. Nobody would go with me, so I had to do this alone. And I'd never done this before. And let me tell you, it was quite an experience. And here I am trying to do the right thing, say the right words to God and to honor my father and to bury his ashes at sea, all while steering this little boat that I had rented. And amongst the sharks and the whales and the high waves, I'm out there with one hand doing the steering, one hand doing the other thing. It was like a comedy of errors. But we got it done, and that's where my dad is today. As far as his ashes are concerned, hopefully he's in heaven with everybody else up there. But I was asked to do a eulogy for my dad, and I want to read that eulogy and go through it with you today. Hopefully it'll make you feel some emotion and maybe want to express some additional warm feelings of gratitude and love and respect to your own dads, again, whether they're living or they passed. So are you ready for this, Lou Bell?
I believe I'm ready, yes.
You sure? Because I may have listed some emotion in you. I've been known to do that before, even though you are a hard-skulled character.
Yes. You like to get me on the radio and then make me get all misty. So
verklempt.
Yeah, verklempt.
As Mike Myers would say when he saw Barbra Streisand, I'm all verklempt.
Yes.
Okay.
Wonderful Yiddish word.
This is titled "Eulogy for a Submarine Sailor," John William Arrington, by Randy Arrington, Ph.D. Here we go. Children of submarine sailors tell different stories than other kids do. None of our fathers can teach a history class, sell a stock, make a hole in one, write a song, cut hair, give a tetanus shot, or describe the theme of a Hemingway novel accurately. We tell of fathers who go out on secret submarine patrol, remaining submerged for 6 months at a time, during which the position of the ship is not known once it leaves the naval base. Our fathers sailed underneath the polar ice cap, launched ballistic missiles, fired torpedoes, dived down to a few feet above the submarine's crush depth, and spied on enemy nations. Your dads coached football, sold cars, taught mathematics, prosecuted criminals, ran a barbershop, and were real estate tycoons. You don't like war or violence or nuclear-tipped torpedoes, or napalm, or depth charges, or cruise missiles. We were raised by men who made America the most secure nation on earth. We grew up attending memorial services for submarine sailors who were lost at sea in ships like Thresher and Scorpion. Your fathers made local communities decent, prosperous, growing, and functional. Our fathers made the world safe for democracy. We have gathered here today to celebrate the remarkable and storied life of John Arrington, who was simply called Jackie by his mother early on in his life that began about 84 years ago in Ohio. Although this day is filled with sorrow, we can take great comfort in knowing that my dad lived a wonderful life, always at full speed ahead. Sometimes it seemed like he was running around as if his hair was on fire and his rear end was catching. John Arrington didn't know what temperance was, or mediocrity, or where you would go to find such things. As such, his self-esteem was absolutely indisputable, but he wasn't arrogant or pompous. His was an assured self-confidence, and it was one of his most endearing qualities. From the first day you met my dad, you knew you were in the presence of greatness. You quickly realized that his contagious smile could immediately light up any room, rendering even the most stubborn people helpless to defend against his cheerful demeanor and positive attitude. My dad adored his wife and cherished his children. He wished everyone could be just like him, a strapping, dark-haired matinee idol. I would bet that he hadn't spent more than a few $1,000s in his whole life on a wardrobe, with the possible exception of a closet full of cowboy shirts and Lee jeans. John Arrington is a true American hero. His life was filled with the kinds of things that screenwriters extol in their scripts, but movie directors can never adequately capture up on that big screen, precisely because it was reality, not fantasy. My dad served with honor and great distinction for 20 years as a submarine chief petty officer in the United States Navy. As a member of our greatest generation, he protected America and kept us safe from the numerous threats to national security that existed in the mid-40s through the mid-60s. After his military retirement, he worked in the motion picture industry in Hollywood for over 30 years, helping to produce a variety of entertainment that we have all enjoyed on television and in the movie theaters. My remarks here today are intended to paint a snapshot of my dad's professional experience. As usual, was the case with Dr. Arrington, the words have been choreographed so that all of you can derive a sense of what it was like to live the kind of life that he was privileged to lead. John Arrington was a 20th century kerosene cowboy, riding a bucking bronco in the rodeo of his two chosen professions. But his bronc wasn't made of hair and hoof. It was made of metal and wires, carbon fiber and glass, torpedoes and missiles, generators and spotlights, cameras and sound stages. And my dad always rode for the full 8 seconds every time out of the chute, whether he was submerged in a submarine or on a movie set in Hollywood. My dad was a submarine sailor at heart, but he also loved being a motion picture man, and he was exceptionally gifted at both. John Arrington was a man's man. He lived a great life, always doing what he loved to do, going out to sea, defending American freedom, working long hours at the movie studio to finish up a film, spending quality time with family, joking with friends and coworkers. Every one of us should be so lucky. Here's how my father appeared to me as a young boy. He came from a race of giants out of a mythical land known as Cleveland. He married the most beautiful girl ever to sashay out of Columbia, Mississippi. There were times when I thought we were being raised by Zeus and Athena.
Okay, I got to stop you there. Sashay, is that like you applied that to her because of the whole Southern girl thing, didn't you?
Absolutely. I knew you'd like that. She came from Columbia, Mississippi. And, I was fortunate to go back there and visit my maternal grandmother every now and then. And they were farmers before she moved to Montebello, California. I guess she got divorced, moved to Montebello, or whatever. And no, her husband died. My maternal grandfather died very early as a result of a railroad accident. But we used to go back there and visit. And one thing I found out about farmers was they eat like horses. I mean, first of all, the breakfast was huge. All sorts of
they burn
beans
it off.
Vegetables, fresh vegetables. It was just amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. My dad's dad was a farmer too. There in Valley City, Ohio, a little bit south of Cleveland. He was a farmer as well. Yeah. So I, as a young boy, I mean, I looked up to this man and respected him immensely. And I thought we were being raised by Zeus and Athena, that beautiful girl to sashay out of Columbia, Mississippi, Southern that she was.
Yes.
So I have Southern roots.
Southern girls are great.
You know what? You mock me about Southern atmosphere and the Southern cuisine, and I come from Southern roots. I guess I can maybe throw that back in your face. What do you think? You and Miss Stacy always tease me when we go have lunch, and I look at that okra like, what the heck is that?
The funny thing is that you have a lot of traits that it's really obvious that you were raised by a Southern mother. So you couldn't fool me even if you tried. And I give you grief because I think it makes you feel at home, like you're back on a carrier. I think you secretly love it.
I call you Miss Lubell, and I call Stacy Miss Stacy. That's just the honorable thing that we do when we call the girls Miss, even when they're little girls, Miss.
Right.
That's just what I was taught to do.
And the Southern thing to do is Miss and the first name.
Right.
That's a Southern
Miss Lou.
thing. Yeah, it's a Southern thing.
Okie dokie. You want to take a break, or you want to get back to this?
If it's a good place for you to take a break, we can certainly take a break now.
Yeah, let's take a break. We'll come back.
Okay, we'll be right back. Music for Wake Up America Radio is provided by Tennessee Jed, whose new CD, Stronger, is available on iTunes.
I looked all over, so how can it be? Here comes the wrecking ball, swinging at me.
K98 Talk is continuing to expand its lineup. This means we are expanding our advertising base. Whether you're a startup trying to push through to the next level or an established business trying to supplement your advertising budget, web-based advertising is a solid investment. Thanks to Talk's newest partnership with TuneIn Radio and instant access to our sister station, K98 FM, we give you worldwide access at a reasonable cost. Interested parties should email us at advertise@k98talk.org.
They know I mean well and smiling as hell if they try. They open their mouths, only hatred spews out with their lies.
Okay, getting back to Eulogy for a Submarine Sailor, I ended off by saying there were times as a young boy when I thought I was being raised by Zeus and Athena. After work and happy hour, my father would race his car home to see his wife, children, and little puppy dog. He would get out of his car, a handsome hulk of a man, and walk toward his house. His knuckles dragging along the ground, his shoes stepping on and killing small rodents as he ambled towards his home. Some of the best times were when my dad grabbed his catcher's mitt and took my brother and I to the playground for a game of catch. Or when he took out his set of golf clubs dusted them off, and drove us to the golf course to play 18 holes. During the Cuban Missile Crisis, my mother took me out to the New London Naval Base, where we watched Dad's submarine sail silently and majestically out of the channel and into the dark waters of the Atlantic Ocean. We stood not more than 30 feet from the very spot where the submarine sailors had barbecued steaks and boiled corn on the cob for a family picnic the very week before this. My dad was a protector, always a protector, who would fight for those who couldn't defend themselves against tyranny, both foreign and domestic. I was told about a story. My dad ended up running Hollywood General Studios. It's now called Zoetrope Studios because Francis Ford Coppola bought it. When Coppola bought it, he kept my dad on to sort of run things and make sure that all the electricity was the way it should be, because he was the one that knew all about electricity. And it was about a month into it when my dad got wind of the fact that Francis Ford Coppola was not paying the people working on his latest production, his film production they were doing on the lot. That he wasn't paying the production people, the script people and the people that move things around, the grips. He wasn't paying anybody. So my dad decided to defend these people. He shut down the electricity in the entire motion picture studio. Not 1 ounce of electricity was flowing. Francis Ford Coppola and his lawyer quickly grabbed my dad, pulled him in their office, and this fancy lawyer wearing this Armani suit tried to threaten my dad. Well, you don't threaten my dad. And he said, I could throw you in jail for 7 to 10 years right now for what you've done. And my father simply said to the man, "You're an attorney at law, is that correct?" He said, "Yes, sir, I am." Now, don't get me wrong here, but when you work, you expect to get paid. Is that true? He goes, "Well, of course I do." He says, "So do these people." And at noon that day, they started lining people up, and he cut checks. Francis Ford Coppola started paying these people, and then my dad turned back the electrical power on so they could finish that film. That's the kind of guy he was, would stand up for those that couldn't protect or defend themselves in a civilian context and in a military context as well. My father also introduced a new dynamic to Los Angeles Dodgers baseball games. I never knew this until I started going to Dodgers games later myself as an adult. Most people that go to Dodger games, it's a big event. It's a celebrity event usually. They show up late, like in the second inning. And they leave early, like in the seventh inning. My dad would have none of that. The Arrington family arrived early, watched infield practice and batting practice, and we stayed until the very last out, and then sat in the stands until the traffic had sort of weeded itself out, and then we could get in our car and drive home. I'll never forget once we were behind a couple of cars going slow, trying to get out of the Dodger Stadium, and there was a hippie minivan in front of us, and in front of the hippie minivan was a station wagon, and you could see both cars fairly good from where we were. And all of a sudden, there was a long-haired guy in the hippie minivan that jumped out of his driver's seat, and the window of the car in front of him, that station wagon, was open. And this guy was apparently put his foot and leg in that window, was kicking this old man who's probably 70 years old, who's 75 years old, kicking him. My dad calmly got out of our car, walked to that guy, grabbed him by the hair, turned his face, popped him once, and the guy went down to the concrete. So he was, again, protecting somebody that couldn't protect themselves. My dad's wit was stunning. His intellect impressive. His humor infectious. His heart massive. Mom, we all love you, and we all love Dad. We will all miss him, and we are all better people for having him touch our lives. And we all look forward to being reunited with him one day in heaven. Dad, you were one hell of a good man. I am so honored and proud to be your son. And that's the eulogy for my dad, Lou. What do you think?
I think it's great.
It's hard sometimes for me to read that.
Yeah.
I remember when I did it, and it brings you right back to when I did it there at that church in California.
Well, and we're reversed on this because we did the Mother's Day special. I've lost my mom. I still have my dad.
Yeah, I know.
So it's we're kind of reversed on that. It's good that I guess we can.
Well, a lot of people don't know that's happened, but I know that. So,
Right.
but that's what I wanted to do to kind of elicit some stuff. I've got some other kind of cool things here that I want to share with the listening audience. It's all designed to, dredge up some emotion in us, which is a good thing sometimes as a human being to feel these types of emotions, and to just reaffirm our love and honor and respect for our dads. Not all dads are good dads. There's some knuckleheads out there. Don't get me wrong. I realize that. But that's why I'm doing this, and I hope that you feel the same way. None of you can ever be proud enough of being the child of such a father who has no equal in this world, in your minds. So great, so good, and so faultless. There has been a moment in each of your lives when you stop to wonder the matchless importance of your dad in your lives. Their influence is infinite. Their presence is unmatched. They have been a pillar of strength for you, and their unconditional love has never demanded anything from you other than your love in return and your respect. So we want to celebrate the spirit of Father's Day, and I want to do this here because I want to share some stories with you. I got some stories that were written by kids. Some of them are younger kids, 9 years old, 12 years old, 11. And this one right here is about a kid in high school, and it's very inspirational. He wrote this for his dad, and he titled it "A Father's Eyes." And here's what he wrote. My mother died when I was young, and my father brought me up. Both of them shared a very special relationship. This is the father and the son. Jonathan, the son, loved to play football, and his father made sure that he was always there to cheer his son on at every game, even if Jonathan wasn't a part of that playing team for that specific game. Jonathan, being small in size, wasn't allowed to play on the main team. Nevertheless, he continued with his practice and full determination. Everyone thought that Jonathan would never be able to make it to the big team, though somehow his determination carried him through. This is kind of like a Rudy story. Somehow his determination carried him through. The listeners know about Rudy?
Yeah,
Rudy?
I'm sure pretty much everybody's seen
the
Rudy
pint-sized
movie.
guy that finally got to play a couple of downs at the Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look it up, if not.
Rudy, yeah.
Rudy the movie, about the
Rudy the
football
movie.
player from Notre Dame.
The coach, seeing Jonathan's diligence and obvious dedication, decided to keep him on the roster. One day during practice, the coach met Jonathan with a telegram. Jonathan was shocked to read the message contained in it. Swallowing hard, he mumbled to the coach, "My father died this morning. Will it be all right if I miss practice today?" The coach gently put his arm around Jonathan's shoulder and said, "Take the rest of the week off, son, and don't even plan to come to the game this Saturday." On the day of the game, Jonathan's college team was losing badly to the rival team. The coach and the players had all lost hope when suddenly they saw Jonathan coming towards them. He ran out and up to the coach and pleaded for the coach to allow him to play in this game. At first, the coach wasn't going to allow him to play. However, after a lot of persuasion, the coach gave in. No sooner than Jonathan joined the team on the field, the scores started to improve before both teams were finally at a tie. However, the real cheer came during the crucial closing seconds when Jonathan intercepted a pass and ran all the way for a winning touchdown. His team members were ecstatic. The crowd came running out of the stands towards Jonathan to celebrate with him and the rest of the team members. After the game, the coach went up to Jonathan, who was seated alone in the corner of the locker room, and asked, "Kid, I can't believe it. You were fantastic. Tell me, what got into you? How did you do it?" Jonathan looked at the coach with tears in his eyes and said, "Well, you knew my dad died, but what you didn't know was that my dad was blind." The young man swallowed hard and forced a smile. "Dad came to all my games, but today was the first time he could see me play, and I wanted to show him that I could do it."
Oh.
Yeah, that's a tough one there
Yeah.
to contemplate.
Yeah.
High school and college kid. It's ironic. I was looking. You know what, folks? You don't know this, but Lou Bell, my producer, forces Dr. A to do extensive research for every time we have a show, and I'm constantly doing this research to keep up with her fast pace, and just know that she makes me do the research. So I did a lot of research today, and of course, being a professor of political science, I know what's going on in the world right now. Besides doing the research on tributes to fathers for Father's Day special, of course, you ran into some stuff that was happening around the world, like Mrs. Clinton becoming the presumptive nominee, along with, Miss Stacey's favorite, Donald Trump, becoming the presumptive nominee. That's what's going to be happening in the next 6 months or so. But it's good every now and then to take a break from the antagonisms that can affect you dealing with politics. And that's why we don't have 350 million citizens who also happen to be 350 million political activists, because they'd go crazy and the country would be highly politically unstable. We have to have people that can bury their heads in the sand, hopefully not too deeply, can still hear what's going on up above there, and just deal with their everyday lives and be productive citizens. Otherwise, we would be totally unstable. We don't want that.
Right.
But here's some stories. I like these. During my research, I came across several stories, tributes to the fathers, written by 9-year-olds, 12-year-olds, 11-year-olds, whatever. And I want to share them with you. Now, I'm going to read these tributes to their dads exactly the way they were written. Now, the syntax and the grammar may not be up to PhD standards, if there is such a thing, but I want to read them the way they were written by these kids, so you get the gist of what they're trying to say. And maybe this will bring us back to when we were 9 years old, if you remember that far back. 13-year Lou can probably remember that far back, but
No,
Miss Stacy may not. She's getting up there in age. She may not be able to remember that far back. But
She's going to kill you.
she loves me. She squeezes my face together. Okay, this one is called A Superhero in the House, written by Brianna Beltran, who's 13 years old, lives in Queens. A superhero in the house. Dad, I know you might not be Superman, Batman, or Spider-Man, but you have everything in common with them. You are a hero, especially my hero. You fight evil villains to keep me safe and work your way through anything to keep everyone in the family happy and healthy. That's what makes you my superhero. You are the best dad in the entire world, and there's nothing anyone can do to change that. Brianna Beltran, 13 in Queens, wrote that about her dad. I just thought that was sweet.
That is extremely sweet.
The next one comes from New Jersey. We just had a political campaign there, the primary in New Jersey. Look at me. I'm bringing politics back into this. Slap me in the face. Okay, this is from Tristan Delaney in Lincroft, New Jersey. She's 13. She calls this a double portrait. Sometimes I wonder what life would be like if I lived like many others in the world, without a loving, caring father. I wonder about those who don't have enough food to eat, or who can't live in a safe neighborhood like I do, and in a nice house. Luckily, I don't have to worry about that, because my dad is an amazing man who has made great sacrifices to keep us all satisfied. My dad comes from a sports family. He loves sporting games, whether it's basketball or football. Even if the game is on the other side of the world, he makes an effort to be there. I know that if I look into the bleachers, my dad is going to be there cheering me on. So when I did the research on this, Lou, I got these different testimonials, if you want to call them that, tributes. And there's great wisdom in children. There really is, common sense wisdom. And each of these kids, when they write these tributes to their dad, they have a different picture to paint, a different story of why their dad is the best. And I just thought it was so brilliantly done from their common sense perspective. That's why I want to share it with the readers. I got another one from New Jersey from a little girl named Ava, 11 years old. She says, "What is your image of a picture-perfect dad?" Well, this is mine. A dad who drives you everywhere, cheers you on, and loves you unconditionally. He listens to whatever I need to say, even if it's the craziest things ever. If I need something, he will try his best to get it to me. He plays with our dog like the dog is a human being. And whenever I'm sad, he loves me and cheers me up. I thought that was so cute. He plays with the dog like he's a human being, probably talking to the dog like he's a human being. Here's one written by Reese Donnelly, who's 9 years old, and she writes, "My uncle, the hero. My uncle was deployed twice to Afghanistan, and he called me every night to see how my day was. He takes me surfing, and when I'm scared to walk the dog at night, he comes and walks the dog with me. I am proud of my uncle for the work he does as a New York City police sergeant. He is a kind, brave man who I love very much." So she didn't have a dad, I guess, but she's writing that about her uncle.
Yeah, he must be her surrogate dad.
Yeah. This one is from Vanessa. She's 9 years old, lives in Brooklyn. I got a picture of her right here. She's really cute. It's entitled, "He is a Believer in Me." My dad is the best because he makes me believe in myself. There was a talent show at my school. I wanted to participate, but I was just too shy. My dad said, "Don't give up. It's your dream." When I heard him say that, I knew it was time to shine, and I won the talent show. I would never ask God for a better dad. I hope he gets famous one day. Famous like Dr. A. Maybe infamous from the left standpoint.
Well, depending, on who you ask.
Here's one. She's 12 years old. Her name is Michelle Sarkay. "Dear Daddy, as the years pass, I meet new people. The new guy becomes my first crush, and before I know it, I fall in love. But I'll never forget the man who put me to sleep when I was having a bad day, who worked nonstop to see me to where I am now, and who waited for me to continue my path through life into the future. The man that made me laugh and took me on the ride of my life, and who never expected less of me. He only expected more of me. That man is and always will be my daddy. I love you, Daddy, with all my heart." 12 years old. Let's see here. This is written by a young man named Gabriel Contreras, 14, out of Brooklyn, New York. Super in every sense is what he titled this. Not only is my dad super, but he's extra super. He works long hours every day helping people who work in his building in Brooklyn. On his time off, he teaches me how to fix things. Most recently, my bicycle, which broke. I look up to him for his hard work and the love he shows to me and my entire family. He taught me to work hard, to stay in school, and to get a quality education. I hope to pass these skills on to my children one day. 14, and he wrote that.
Right. Yeah, some of them sound so mature.
Victor Mature, I know. Sometimes I sound so immature. That's okay. Your buddy Hammy there, the naval aviator extraordinaire that he is from the E2 community, once texted me something or tweeted me something. He said, "Naval aviators never grow up. We're always going to be kids." That's true, but we're man-children.
Yeah, I would agree with that based on the ones that I know or have interacted with. But I think that's a dynamic of spending months on a ship with nothing but a bunch of guys.
We had and one of these guys, we had 4 of them on Twitter just about 3 or 4 days ago. One of them is now a doctor, a pediatrician. Was a helicopter pilot in the Air Force, in the Navy,
funny,
and all 4 of us naval
funniest.
aviators.
Yeah, he's the funniest one of all of you.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
But we one of your and Stacy's Twitter trolls decided to focus on the 4 of us, and that was a big mistake. So we were toying with this individual, luring them in for the kill, the virtual kill, ladies and gentlemen, not the real kill. Soft kill, not hard kill.
It was actually pretty funny.
It was.
I love to see you guys abuse our trolls. It's awesome.
Well, sometimes they can be so mean.
Yeah, especially
I just block
to us
those.
girls. Yeah, and they like to be really mean to females like Stacy and I. Some of them are really mean to some of the males that we know, but they start off picking out.
Yeah. Be very careful what you wish for. Did you see the other day all this LGBTQ, ABCDEF crap is going on, trying to give legitimacy to these alleged, supposed transgenders, and letting the boy transgenders who self-identify as a girl go in the ladies' room?
There you go with politics again. Are you ready to take a break and come back and do the news?
Well, let me just say one thing. They had this boy who identifies as a girl win the state championship in track and field, winning all these races against these girls, and now the liberals are all up in arms. He's a guy. He's not a girl. Yes, I'm ready to take a break.
No wonder
you're getting me into politics.
Races. I did statistics in track and field and football and basketball in high school, and boys run faster than girls. Sorry.
They do. There's some things boys can do that girls can't do. I'm sorry. That may be sexist.
Yes.
But...
No, I did boys and girls track, and they were the times are always lower for the boys. It's just the legs are longer, they're stronger. It's just the way it goes, people, and get over it. So we're going to break.
Women are beautiful, men are utilitarian.
That's right. Okay. We're beautiful and
that's right.
And have strong spirits.
Yes, we need to listen to our women more. Yeah. Slickery Trigger, you listen to your wife.
Because she's smart. All right, we'll be right back. Wake Up America Radio on WNJC is part of the Conservative Commando Radio Network.
Is run aground. The water is shallow and hazy. The storm is upon us. It's too late to turn around.
This is JD.
And this is Stacy.
Join us Tuesday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern for Game On. Remember,
lock up the children and the old folks.
Game On, the home of conservative conservatism.
Where no one is safe and no one is spared. Not even the hosts.
Oh, that was supposed to be a spin cycle. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. We love you anyway. Right round, baby.
Self-monitoring
right
Ebola radio strikes again.
Anyway.
Anybody see the host monkey? Where's the host monkey? Where's the host monkey? For God's sake, I need an antidote. Just do your rant. Let's pop out of the segment.
Find us on Twitter at JD and Stacy.
You're listening to K98Talk.com.
I've seen this happen before. And there's a full moon out tonight. I'm a fool, but you can't fool me twice. I wear my secret deception just like a disguise. When I reveal myself in the light, stick around and you might pay the price. With the questions, it's time that we said our goodbyes.
I knew that this wouldn't be easy.
Try not to tie it down.
Now nothing you say can appease me.
If you wanted to go, then you would have been gone before now. The darkness abounds.
Hey, welcome back to Wake Up America Radio with Dr. A and Lou Bell in our special Father's Day edition. And I want to read a couple more of these things we've been talking about here after I read the eulogy for my dad. But some of these young kids are writing why they love their dads, why their dads are special. And this one comes from a kid named Luca J. He's 11, lives in Union City, New Jersey. And he titles this Special Weekend with a Special Guy. And the picture I'm seeing on my computer here is of this young kid, handsome young little guy, and his dad. They're surfers. Me and my dad's relationship is unbreakable. We go hunting in the woods, catching snakes and frogs, and he's my cameraman. We play paintball together, always on the same team. And we go on a father-son camping trip every summer to Pennsylvania. When my parents got divorced, it was really tough grasping the fact that I will only be able to see my favorite person in the world on weekends. At age 6, I learned his cell number by heart. It was the only one I knew. Nothing will ever break us apart. Now he's 11. This one comes from a young lady named Alyssa Crete from Baldwin, New Jersey, 17 years old. She entitled this, He'll Never Leave Me. What is a hero? It is someone who saves you. It is someone you look up to more than anyone. It is someone who inspires you. My hero is my dad. He was kind, humble, honest, and loving. And he fought bravely. He fought leukemia every single day. Some people think you need a hero physically present on earth for them to be able to save you. For me, my hero is here every day and will never leave me. Happy Father's Day, Daddy. I know you're up there with breakfast in bed and lots of cannolis.
Lots of cannoli.
Lots of cannolis, yeah. I guess they were Italian.
Yeah, I guess. and Dad liked cannoli.
Brianna Henry, 10, from Baldwin. He's one of a kind. My daddy inspires me to do my best at everything. Whenever I leave for school, we do our special handshake, and he tells me to go do great things, daughter. He also inspires me because he was able to achieve his goal of being an architect. He makes me laugh by doing funny dances, making funny faces, and making funny noises. I especially laugh when he throws a grape in the air and catches it in his mouth. My dad is a one-of-a-kind. I remember last year, our last show, I talked about my oldest daughter, Lauren, who we were talking about personality and character of individuals who become president and how character develops early on in life. And you said your character was probably cemented by age 1. I think my daughter Lauren's character was cemented by age 2. And I told you that's the first time I looked down at her in our home, and I asked her something. She said no. And I said, what did you say to me? No? She said, yes, no. I said, well, you better run because I'm coming to get you. And, of course, then I'd chase her around the house and catch up to her, and we'd have fun laughing and giggling. One of the best times I remember with my daughter, and she remembers this too, is I was a big John Wayne fan growing up. My dad made lots of movies with John Wayne. He was a sort of hero figure of mine, as was my dad. They're sort of like a similar character. And she used to watch John Wayne movies with me. And there was one movie called Donovan's Reef, where it was just after World War II, and they were stranded. John Wayne's character and Lee Marvin, a bunch of other people were stranded. Jack Warden were stranded on this island after a ship got blown apart, and the natives sort of hid them from the Japanese and nursed them back to health. And I remember watching my daughter, Donovan's Reef, sitting in the middle of the carpet, looking up at that TV screen for her little perch there, 2 years old, just her body swaying back and forth when she'd hear the music, and she memorized the script, just enjoying that movie. And that warms my heart to know that as a dad, I kind of influenced her to do that. And to this day, she still watches that movie. There are countless things I can say about my father's kindness, selflessness, and positivity. But the trait that inspires me most is his dogged determination. He strives for greatness in everything he does. Everything I have ever accomplished was done because of him being in my mind, getting accepted to the National Honor Society, acquiring an internship, and being the first sophomore captain on the varsity female wrestling team. He also taught me some cool takedowns and throws in wrestling. That's Samantha Acosta from Staten Island. You know what? Whenever I talk to my kids, my own children, or my students, which I view as my surrogate kids, I don't care if they're 75 years old, they want to know things, how to be successful. Dr. Ray, how do we become successful in life? Here's what I tell them. And listen to this closely. Trust Dr. Ray in this one subject, people. If you want something out of life, wrestle it to the ground until it submits. Don't let anything or anybody prevent you from achieving the goals you have set for yourself in life. Most of all, yourself. Don't be your own worst enemy. Don't be an obstacle. And I taught that to my kids growing up, and I taught that to my students. Again, whether they were 18, 17 years old or 88 years old, I taught them that. And I'm telling that to you right now, Miss Stacy and Lou Bell and Juju Dombrowski. Don't let anybody prevent you from achieving your goals in life, most of all, yourself, or these dumbass Twitter trolls are out there trying to hurt you. You have nothing to say about that, Lou?
About the trolls?
No, what advice I just gave you. Oh, my gosh.
It's great advice. It's great advice, and it sounds really similar to advice that I got from my dad, and still get from my dad.
Okay. Here's one called He Lifts Me Up by Adrian Ruiz of Brooklyn. He's 13 years old. Good-looking kid and father. My father grew up in Mexico and never graduated from high school. He works in construction job every day, sometimes 12, 13 hours per day. No matter how tired my dad is, he's always supporting me toward getting good grades in school because he doesn't want me to follow in his footsteps. He tells me that he wants me to become somebody in life. I hope he realizes that he is already somebody in my life. Adrian Ruiz. Let's see here. This one is called He's a Doll 2 by Ashley Altieri from Sagarities, New York. She's 10 years old. Not many dads would take their daughter to the American Girl doll store. I did that. But my dad takes me there for my birthday every year. We have dinner together and do projects together. He puts food on the table for our family and provides a very nice roof over our heads. We went to the daddy-daughter dance and got all dressed up and got our photos taken and had a blast. We are always telling jokes and making each other laugh. He always actively participates in everything I do, games, school functions, practices, and he always encourages me. I thought that was great.
That's sweet.
Here's Leslie Torres, 14, from Brooklyn. This is called Long Distance Love. My father is both a father figure and a friend to me. I could never imagine my life without him. Although he doesn't live with me anymore, he always tends to put a smile on my face, and I can always count on him, even if it's just a simple phone call. Sometimes his job gets in the way of our daughter-father relationship, but I know how hard he works every day, so very hard. Not only for me, but also for my brother, too. Every time I get to see my dad, or at least hear my daddy's voice, I am happy to know that I'm not only speaking with my dad, but I'm speaking to a true hero. Now, I may need some help on this one because I've never really seen The Lord of the Rings. I went to The Lord of the Rings, the second episode, and walked out after 30 minutes. I couldn't understand it.
I've not seen all of them.
Yeah. My middle son, Kyle, laughed at me. He said, you have to see the first one to begin the trilogy, Dad. Okay, so this is called Lord of the Rings, King of the Keyboard. You were my number one girl, says my dad, with his best Gollum Smeagol impression, whoever that is, from the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Yeah.
Whenever he leaves early in the morning to go to work, and I just happen to be awake at that time, my father reminds me of my personal value in life. He also helps me so much on a piano or a saxophone piece that I've been working on. He was a band director, so he knows how to play a lot of instruments. If I have trouble with a particular musical piece, just 10 minutes with my dad is all I need. He is the reason I can play Mozart's First Sonata by memory. My dad has given me the gift of music. I feel so lucky to call him my father. She's 11 years old, Zulni Floresca from Baldwin, New York.
Well, you don't really need to know anything about Lord of the Rings there. I can just translate that into Dad is a nerd.
Okay.
But he's a really good dad.
Here, this one is a little 9-year-old named Emily Chen of Manhattan. She titles this, "And Piggy Makes 3. A lot of parents tuck you into bed at night, but when my daddy tucks me in, it's very special. One night, he went through all the pictures that show him and me together. If we don't share memories, he makes up a story about Piggy, my stuffed pig. But sometimes it's just a kiss and a good night. I like that too."
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah. Let's see here. My dad knows best. Remember that show, My Father Knows Best? I remember that show.
You've got time for one more, and then we need to wrap up because we're not
All
going
right,
to do any
this
news
is it. This
today.
is a great one, okay?
Yeah.
My dad knows best. My dad, Howard, makes me feel better because he is always telling me to stand up for myself instead of being bullied. He also knows what is best for and not best for me. Our family has a password in case of emergencies or if we were in trouble. I know this password by heart. My dad also knows how to find a solution to problems since he is a psychologist. For example, when I wanted my own pet, my dad gave me chores to do to see if I was a responsible person. After that, I got my own pet. My dad also encourages me to try new things. When I do, he does it with me so I can have comfort. And if I ever get scared about it, my dad is always there. I love my dad, and no one can ever replace him. How about that?
I think that's awesome. Nobody can ever replace your father.
I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. There's only one man, anything like my dad. No person on earth has ever stood by me or understands me or cares about me like my father does. And I know that very well, and he can never be replaced.
Excellent. Here's some great fatherly advice besides the wrestle it to the ground. You know I meant that as virtual wrestling, not really hurting somebody.
Yes.
Wrestle your problems. Let freedom ring, God help us. And people always speak the truth and then endure the inevitable consequences.
Absolutely. And catch us on K98 Talk, K98.org, Thursday nights at 8 p.m. and WNJC out of Philadelphia, Super 1360 AM, Tuesdays at 5 p.m. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, everybody. Have a great day.
All right. Take care.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method and to get your free report, go to 29security.com. That's the number 29security.com. 29security.com. Go to 29security.com.